Welcome everyone, this is Alex from the Coaster Spot, and look at this is so exciting. Oh my goodness, it's construction update number 14, I believe, filmed on April 8th, and that first lift hill support is a huge portion of it just went up. Of course, the park is open today, so we'll have plenty of views inside the park, and we'll go ahead right now and take the drone up. We'll come up to the gardens later on when the lighting is better, and we'll monitor the construction site all day long to see if we have any more progress, but this is very exciting. Oh my goodness.
And this is part of the video where we do the YouTube thing of asking you to subscribe, like or dislike this video, comment down below, and hit that bell if you really want to get up-to-date notifications when videos come out. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, especially Instagram, where I post a lot of stories of the day that I'm at the park for up-to-date updates, especially now that the park is open on weekends and on Saturdays. They're obviously working. So beautiful view of that new structure that has gone in. We're going to see a lot of progress of the queue line in a moment, but yeah, there you go. You can see that lift hill structure is just absolutely huge. We'll talk about how tall it is at this point and how much there is left to go later in the video, much later in the video, but just absolutely gorgeous. Now, if we look just to the left of that lift hill structure that's being lifted currently by the crane, you can see the bottom of the lift hill, the portion that's at about a 45-degree angle, and that's really exciting to see. That means we're going to see more of that, where the track is going to be placed on top of it. And then to the left of that is a bunch of ledgers that were placed, entering into the first zero-G roll, as well as structure that it's going over for the second zero-G roll, which is going to be right below it. You know, it's going to cross over, and we'll show you some views later on inside the park. But from the on-ride rendering, which you can find on the channel, you can see that the second zero-G roll is almost going to have a head chopper or some really cool visuals. So it's going to be fun to watch this area and see it progress over the next couple of weeks. And you can see that the pathway for the exit has been poured. Obviously, it ends up in the same place it used to, but it starts on the other side of the station, since there's now unload station. And we can also see that the footers for the staircases for both the unload and load station look like they have been poured. I don't believe they were there last week. And we also have some more developments on the entrance line and the lockers. Now, before I thought that structure that's right above the brake run was for the pass-through lockers. I don't think it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe an on-ride self-photo kiosk. We're not sure what the old kiosk area is going to have, since that was demolished last year at some point. But those little poles right there that you can see, I think that's where the lockers are going to be placed. Maybe that's the beginnings of a covering of some sort, not sure. But we also can see that the walkway is very wide that they poured, so I think fast track merge is going to be right there, and that would make sense as to why they have widened the walkway all the way through the queue line. Now, the other thing I'm a little confused for, why they've poured a little walkway between what was the queue and the exit ramp right around the area where there used to be a photo booth. Not sure what that's going to be for, but we'll find out, I guess, eventually. And if you look to the right now as we're swinging around the site, you can see that they have gotten some new deliveries of track. There are straight track pieces, I believe 8 of them, which could be everything the lift hill needs. 8 pieces of track at probably about 50 feet a length each, you know, left and right rails, so more or less 4 segments of track. That might do it. So that's exciting to see. I was wondering if they're going to build this lift hill, where's the track? And it's here now. So there was plenty of track added this week, of course, and we need to talk all about that. Exiting the wave turn at the upper portion of the screen, there was only 1 rail, and now they've added the second rail to all that and connected it all the way up into the zero-G stall. And then there were 2 rails underneath the wave turn last week, and then they have added, I think, another 6 rails, so like 3 segments of track. I don't know how to really talk about that ever, but regardless, right up into the final bunny hop, but it shouldn't be the final pop of airtime, as we'll probably get some getting onto that brake run. Nice pop there. And then you can see more steel being carted onto the construction site. The infrastructure for the ride just looks so far advanced compared to some other coaster construction. Like even Erie Force 1, the whole track was done before they even started any of the queue line or station or any of that. And here, that's the magic of a conversion. So much of it's already in place. It saves a lot of money, saves a lot of time. They've just had to modify it and adapt it to a coaster being built in 2023 instead of 1996. And if you want to see photos and just like sit at them and analyze them like I do, on Twitter really is the best place, because I post a bunch of photos from the drone, and you can just stare at them for however long as you want to, as I do manipulate the video and zoom in and zoom out, and to be able to make it more exciting and focus on what I'm talking about. So go check that out, as I said before. Now inside of the park, I was able to get a bunch of close-up views of the work being done. A lot of focus was taking place on that first wave turn. Now when they first put the structure up, it's bare bones as far as all the connecting pieces, and then they get the track up, and then they come back and put a bunch of more members in, as we'll see in a moment. And this is interesting because one that was missing its ledger, and you can see it's been in place, but the wood structure is not quite bolted and slotted into those two C-channel I-beams. And here's another structural member being slotted into the structure and put into place. They were just doing this all day long. There was a lot to be added. But yeah, this is because it can stand on its own temporarily, but once you're going to add a dynamic load of a train going around it all the time, it needs a lot more structure. There is the exit to the 0G roll, the final one. And next few shots are just going to be of structure. I think it's going to be obscured pretty soon. The 0G stall, and that's more obscured from last week. And then the drop out of station from this angle, I think, is going to be obscured pretty good once they build up the structure. So there it is, close up. And here's a really neat structure for the crossover of the two 0G rolls. If you look at the silver saddle pieces that are connected to the black cross members, those are really close together. And I mean, it's not track one after another. Some of those are for the 0G roll, and then you have to go around the helix, and then the second 0G roll. So it's going to be interesting to see how this looks. And this is kind of funny. The guys were just hanging out because they had nothing to do while waiting for another piece of steel to be carted over for them to wrangle into place. Which, here you go. Here's the next piece going in at 10 times the speed. And they work fast, but not this fast. So, and then once they were closer up, you loosen up some of the steel that was bolted together, so you can spread it just a little bit, and then everything's tightened up again once it's all in place. So here's the process. It doesn't take all that long, really, but as I said, it's just fun to watch it. They were working on that part on the right to get that in, and then once that was in place, then they lowered it down on the other side and set it into its final resting spot. And this steel beam, there's a third one that's going to be added, but this is all over that first turn into the lift hill. And here is the bottom of the lift hill. We showed you it from the air. Here's closer up as it's from the ground. Just really neat to see that structure going up. It's going to look so amazing once it's all the way up. Very impressive. And then there's that crossover structure with the 0G rolls going all over the place. And here's a look at the station. As you can see, they've begun to paint it black. All that natural color wood shingles are all now black. Looks interesting. And we do know from looking at the concept art that the train storage building will have a Wildcat's Revenge logo. Not sure how it's going to be because there were two of them and two different ways it was displayed. And there's a part of the lift hill kind of peeking out there, right above the station. There's a closer look at that paint job. That maroon colored steel, that is just the default color, and that is being painted black as well. Here's the roof of the station. I'm not sure what color it was before. I think it was just white. Lots of electronics and wired up all around the brake run. We talked about that before. And more parts of the ride were just being bolted in place. More cross members and brackets for catwalks. And here's a view of the wave turn that I somehow missed last week. It is definitely a wave turn. Some people were like questioning, hey, does it actually do the wave turn thing? And yeah, it does the wave turn. There's the first one. I can't get enough of it. But yeah, it definitely does its little hump when you're on your side to give you that airtime in two directions, really. It's a really cool moment. And just another look at the underflip with the that platform that was remaining from the top of Wildcat's lift hill. And while nothing really is going on here, I included this shot because it's the final helix, and I think it's going to change a lot by next week. compare and contrast, definitely. And there's that weird structure where the two tracks are going to cross over each other, really close to each other. And yeah, they were once again waiting for another steel member and just hanging around. They should be paid a entertainer's wage as well from Hersheypark, because the amount of people stopping watching to see what was going on was incredible. Like, everybody was interested in what was going on. It was really fun to see that people were interested in it as I am. And here we're outside of the park, getting a look at the entire site from our views that we have in the previous, just to see how it has progressed week over week. And this is the point where we talk about how much taller that lift hill is going to be. At least 50% taller, if not more. Somewhere between 50 and 75% taller. So it's not even close. And here's a look at that final bunny hop, and it shows us they were working on that lift hill support all day long, bolting things together. Not much was added as far as height goes, but yeah, it's going to be incredible seeing this thing rise up even more. It's going to be quite a dramatic change to the skyline. As I said, more hardware was going into this turn all day long, right up until quitting time. And when the basket comes out, that means it's quitting time. There's that 0G stall again in the center. Just looks so good that I had to include another picture of it. Not much has changed on it this week. Here is the stall with that first lift hill structure in the background. A battle brace was added on the right there. So some stuff was added throughout the day. And a side note, the park really needs to work on getting the timing right for Lightning Racer. It's like not even a race anymore, because as you can see, Thunder drops off so much earlier than Lightning that it's not even close. Any race, it's always going to be Thunder. And now we're gonna try to get the best views that we can of the turn out of the 0G roll, the final 0G roll, and the final airtime hill. I think that's going to be a nice little end to the ride right there with that airtime hill. I was hoping it was going to kind of be like a Twisted Timbers, where it was going to bank you and have an off-access airtime hill. But nonetheless, should be fun regardless, right? It's RMC. When have they done wrong, really? The worst RMC is still better than like 99% of the roller coasters in the world. So that's it. We'll be back sometime next week for another construction update. Thanks for watching. This has been Alex for the Coaster Spot. Like, comment, and subscribe. As I said, we'll see you very soon.